I'm making a video. It's Saturday, super late morning. I realize that I've come to a point where I realize the difference between voluntarily unmasking and involuntarily unmasking. And I never realized that the past year post diagnosis that I've been very motivated to start to slowly unmask for my own sake, for my own mental health, and but I never realized that it was within my control until it stopped being within my control. And that's a very different experience. Being able to voluntarily unmask in the situations you choose to is a much more liberating experience because you can put the mask on if you feel scared not to have it. Hello, kitty cats. And but once you run through that energy reserve and you don't have anything left, you don't have, you know what it is? I realize I don't have the energy anymore to rehearse mentally, like premeditate things anymore, like everything, like the conversations, how they're gonna go, how am I gonna sound, how am I gonna say this, how am I gonna look, just how I come across as I'm being perceived by other people. It's a constant thing. And that's the fuel that drives masking, I think. The ability to do that energy to self-reflect prior to doing something so that everything is extremely deliberate, and it's so exhausting. And I think I've reached a point where I can't do that anymore because I'm frequently causing shutdowns and burning myself to the ground as I'm desperately clinging on to any shreds of a mask left that I can use because I'm utterly terrified of just not having it anymore, It's a hard thing to let go of. It's a hard thing to experience when you don't have a choice anymore. When yeah, it's like a much more fear-driven thing. It's like you're aware of you're being confronted with your own like past experiences of the social consequences and judgments and everything that you have felt before, perhaps in the past, and it's just currently that you notice when you unmask, but still not having the ability to mask despite how terrified you are of being unmasked, and not having the energy to do it any other way anymore. It's a different experience than voluntarily unmasking when you choose to, because that's still all within your control. It's all still choreographed in your mind. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think I've reached a point where if I can't do something intuitively, I don't want to do it anymore. Because I can't. Otherwise, I will just continuously cause more and more shutdowns. I tend to have more shutdowns than meltdowns. So choosing to resist this is only going to result in more shutdowns, more frequency, higher frequency of shutdowns, and that will just inevitably bring burnout back to the forefront in to a greater degree than it already currently is. And I don't want that for myself. So yeah, thanks for watching.